Maneva na sema PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV de osia dem yopo.
Lawyer Martin Kpebu has finally reacted to the detention of the protesters over the week during the demonstration, asking Dampare to release the people and go after Wontumi because Wontumi is the sole culprit who is doing galamsey and destroying the water bodies. And he also reminded him of cases they have sent to him and is not doing anything about it, which he said those cases should be looked into rather than what is not necessary. He also asked why is Dampare too political than Nana Addo. He said a lot of things which I would like you to join me listening to what he said into detail. But before we go, this station still remain PENDREAM TV. Please do subscribe if you are a new member. Share to other members to also watch and subscribe to it as well. You can also leave a comment after watching or send us a voice note on our WhatsApp number, which is 0277128777, showing on your screen as well. Thank you.
And has inked his name in the legal jurisprudence of this country when it comes to the law on bail. And he's our guest. Martin Kpebu is private legal practitioner, leader of the Komipeko Reloaded demonstration, and then also one of 3 individual bondholder groups. And the man who, because of him, today we talk about all offenses being available. But then the argument is that it's with conditions. Lawyer Martin Kpebu, good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Counsel. Thank you. It's good to be here once again. I've learned recently that our show is the best in the country. Eh? It's the most watched. Yeah, we've worked hard, right?
Indeed, indeed.
And
thanks
hard,
to you
yes.
and many.
Yeah, that's good, that's good.
Now,
and as usual, just the 2 greetings, or 3. Let me greet Kentucky Teku Churu. That's Gamanche, the venerable Gamanche. We are forever grateful for your wading into the Sicilia Dapa matter. Gamanche says, how can one woman have so much money under her bed? And today, Ghana cannot even find money to get a proper pitch. We are begging to go and play this football there. Can you imagine? Then, number 2, I say Adeyo Ajimabedu II, Domahini. Yes, good morning. He also has been wading in, this galamsey fight. He also gave government a 1-month ultimatum. Good. And then go also Nana Kwesi Bosompra. Yes, he has also waded into the EC matter.
Yes. Calling
on the EC to allow the forensic audit to go on. So Nana Gosuhini, we are grateful. And of course, Sofa Kufu, yes, Antwa. Today, you see, we'll be talking about the 48-hour 48 hours is 48 hours, the
Indeed.
Supreme Court decision. That's Sofa Kufu's last judgment on the Supreme Court before she left. So usually it's called valedictory judgment. That was the last judgment. I'm sure we'll come. That
was sometime in 2019?
Yes, December 2019. So that's Martin Kpebu number 4 versus Attorney General number 4. Yes,
to put it
it's public spirit. It's a court.
That's Kpebu number 4.
Yes. So you see that these cases are cases that actually the Supreme Court saw that as we developed, personal liberties were left behind. So the court thought that no, in this series of cases, they would also improve the law. So really, it's not about me at all. I don't need any publicity. It's the Supreme Court. From Chief Justice George Nawu to Eni Yebua, and then Sofa Kufu, or from George Nawu to Sofa Kufu to Eni Yebua. Yes, so it's the court that is sought to improve the law. As for people, just leave my name out. It doesn't matter.
How
much.
can we leave your name out? You always accuse me of being modest in celebrating success. But this is you. You spent your own money to go and test the law, isn't it?
Yeah, no, because we're feeling it.
It has improved our jurisprudence.
Yeah, yes.
So congratulations to you.
And to the Supreme Court especially. Because Kpebu number 2 was tough, the non-bailable decision. Because even if you look, the UK, US, no, their law doesn't match ours. They still have some clauses there. We will just remove them and say, look, leave it to the judge. Yes, we have removed them because when you read the analysis, you see Georgina Wood, Justice Benin, etc. They analyze UK and US and you see that they still have clauses when it comes to extradition and the rest. But we saw that ours, the more you put fetters there, they will be subject to abuse. So we just cleared it and say, look, everything is in the hands of the judge. Let the judge do it, rather than you allow Parliament to tie the hands of the judge, right? Yeah, so ours is better. Oh, Mr. Counsel, and then one very sad thing. Mr. Adam Bona, you are security analyst. People are dying in Donkokrum and Kwewutafo. DSP Azugu, this Ayawasu West Wagon man. Yeah, they are killing Fulanis. Within 1.5 years, 10 Fulanis, I have seen that 10 Fulanis have been killed and their cattle taken. Yeah, Azugu, and it's in Kwewutafo and then Kurantin in Donkokrum. They are killing Fulanis. Look, last Thursday they came there, the Fulani community, they came there to lodge a complaint. 10 people, 10 of their members.
It's a matter we need to look into.
Okay.
And even though we don't have knowledge of this,
yes,
and cannot independently confirm this.
Just send your reporters to the homicide unit. Yeah,
100%. Yeah. And so we'll look into. But at least thank you for bringing my notice to this, and this is one that we'll look into as well. But also, because you've mentioned names already, Dr. Adam Bona is a security analyst. He's joining us in the studio. Dr. Bona, good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, Alfred.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
A former Deputy Attorney General, and it's for good reason that he's here because it's mostly about the law this morning. Dr. Dominic Ayeni, I thank you so much for making the time to come as well. Good morning to you.
Thank you very much for having me.
Great. And also, I will be joined, in fact, Lawyer Kingsley Amwakwa-Buedu is a private legal practitioner as well. He's a member of the MPP Communications and Legal Directorate. He's going to be joining us in a bit on this matter, and then we'll get into it. But a number of things, and let's start off first with Kpebu, and just first on this arrest, because there's that concern from the lawyers of these protesters who were held. Now we know they are 54, according to the police statement, that as of the day before they were arraigned before court, one, they didn't know where these protesters were, even though eventually some of them got knowledge of some of the police stations that they were being held, about 16 of them.
Yes.
And then also they were denied access to legal counsel.
Thank you.
And also access to their family members.
Yes.
Now, the police says that's not the case. But if you look at how things are played out, is it consistent with practice that in instances like this, when people are picked up at the protest, held, going to be arraigned before court, they don't even have, in fact, their lawyers don't have an idea of the charges they're going to be preferred against, and then also being denied access to their legal counsel and their family members?
Not at all. Not at all. So as those things happened, I mean, I felt like this wasn't Ghana. This wasn't Ghana. These things you've mentioned constitute a grave violation of our constitution. We'll be going shortly to Article 19, Clause 2, right? Yes. So as the police arrested these persons and would not allow lawyers to have access to them, would not allow relations to have access to them, I was like, what's the crime? Why? For these small offenses, later I'll come in. Yes, I know some of them, if you say stealing, maybe a second-degree felony. But in this context, I mean small, compared to Chairman Wontumi, who has degraded the Tanonimri Forest, doing galamsey, and he's walking free. And IG still has his office, and Madame Fosnando Kofi still has her office as CID boss. And then these young people come to draw our attention, and they get thrown into custody. I'm like, come on, this one pales. Blocking roads to 37, all right, etc., pales in the shadow of Chairman Wontumi, degrading the Tanonimri Forest. The size of over 10 football fields. If you watch the Arr3st Asaredonko documentary, which we presented to the CID as part of our petition. That's myself, Ken Ashibe, Kwame Saponasidu, and Edem Senano. That's one petition. And then the second petition was by the Media Coalition Against Galamsey. They presented theirs to IG. And IG presented that petition to Madam Andokofi. So Madam Andokofi is sitting on 2 petitions, which then they are involved in doing some pussyfooting, kukwasa, some slow motion. They thought they could just play it very slow and then this government will go out. But unfortunately, you see Galamsey is back and now it's eggs on the face of IG and Madam Andokofi, trying to aid criminals, trying to aid people who are...
So you haven't gotten updates on how far they've gone with the...
No, not at all. The last update we got was over a year ago when they informed us that Chairman Wontumi had been called in, and Chairman Wontumi is Ashanti Regional Chair of the MPP. He had been called in, his statement taken, and then he was granted bail. So Wontumi, I'm not advocating that Wontumi be put in cells. So Wontumi, who degraded the Tano-Nimere forest and other persons, he hasn't even gone into the cells. Then the young people who came and allegedly blocked, because the case has not been dealt with, I have to say allegedly because they've not been convicted, blocked roads or took keys, they are in cells for 2 weeks. It doesn't make sense. Not anywhere, except in a banana republic. It doesn't make sense.
So then you were going to get into the position of the law.
Of the law.
Yes, they are suspects.
Yes. Yes.
And
now they are accused persons.
Yes.
Okay, by an ordinary language, if you say suspect, meaning that they are still innocent. So it's fine. So please, the lawyers will not be tied to strict legal terms. If you say suspect in ordinary language, viewers would understand. So though I will not be using accuse all the time. Sometimes we say suspect because we want effective communication, the one that will make viewers understand.
Indeed. So what does the law
so Article 19, Clause 2, right, makes it clear it has a number of provisions. Now, I'm interested in the one that says that when you arrest a person, right, says a person charged with a criminal offense shall, I'm interested in the E. It says, be given adequate time and facilities for the preparation of his defense. Be given adequate time and facilities for the preparation of his defense. So he would need a lawyer. The person is a lay person. When you take them into custody, there are 2 types of statement they take at the police station. You hear one, caution statement, caution, like the word warning. And then, but there is a ED at the end, cautioned with an ED at the end. Caution statement, and then charge statement. So those are statements that the lay person has to write. So he will need a lawyer. He would need a lawyer. Because earlier we've admitted that this is a person who is in custody will need a lawyer. That is the essence of Article 19. So he needs adequate time and facilities. Facilities will include getting a lawyer. You go on to F, and it says, be permitted to defend himself before the court in person or by a lawyer of his choice. So you see lawyers are mentioned in there. So before you go to court, these statements are going to be written, and so you need a lawyer, because if you take it literally that he should write his own statement, then when he gets to court, a lawyer will come in. It's like you'll be turning the law over his head. Because if he writes statements that incriminate himself or doesn't write things that will exculpate, show that he's not the one, he would have more or less, like we say in Ghanaian English, spoiled the case before it gets to the court. So you need a lawyer in there from day one.
And if the police says this in their statement, that they did allow them legal access, but initially they didn't want to have anything to do with the police, and that they were not answering questions, it was when they got to know that they were going to be taken to court that they gave their real names and so on, because at some point they were giving multiple names. Is that enough to justify they not being given access?
Not at all. Not at all. Look, these are serious matters. These are constitutional. These are constitution. And look, you know what? These matters I'm talking about, very soon we'll come to this book. The police itself, they've written a book. It goes beyond the constitutional provisions here. It's called Service Instructions. You see them talking about fundamental human rights. And IG Dampare was part of those who drew it up. So the police themselves have written and say, look, they respect fundamental human rights, they will protect fundamental human rights, etc. So please, that is not an answer. IG's name is here. He's number 5 on the list of those who were in the take of affairs in drafting these rules, right? So what the point we're making is that, yes, IG is here. That time, yes, number 5, COP Dr. George Akufo-Addo, Director General ICT, committee membership. So at the time they were drawing it, he was Director General ICT. So today he cannot feign ignorance of the law he himself read. And this is not the first version. When we say service instructions, this is not the first version. There've been older versions. When you go to the police headquarters, you know, one thing I always regret is that in law school, I was never shown this document. It took about 10 years after law school before I chanced upon it. So please, the lawyers, if you want to buy it, go to the back of the police headquarters, the shops there. That's where you get it. So that's the police, their own manual, talking about human rights. If there's time, we'll read copiously from it. Even the older versions, you see it. Police give them food 3 times a day, etc. Yeah.
Now they've modified.
Yes.
Persons who are held in detention.
Food 3 times a day. The older version now, you see they've changed the language a bit. Then they say protect their human rights. Of course, Ghana is moved forward. So if in the older version you say give food 3 times, and now in section 15 you say when they said they give them, you know. Oh, that was debunked. That was debunked. So let's. That was debunked. They couldn't prove it. Today, you see, the police should know that because they've lost the public trust and confidence, if you are doing such a thing, gather evidence. The people who bring in the food, yes, there should be video, etc. Yes, but you see, you should always anticipate your opponent. You know that, look, public trust and confidence in IG Arr3st leadership is at an all-time low. So you should know that everything you're doing, there will be skeptics. So what do? Get video evidence. Now, when you go to the demos, you see that the police themselves have their own cameramen there. Yes. So in the same way, if you are bringing food in, can't you see that people may say they've not received the food? So have video evidence of it, time. So you know the way you can snap a picture, it will show. So if it's 9 a.m., it will show. So if, what do you call it, in the afternoon, lunch, you bring lunch, 1 p.m., you snap, it will show. You know, there should be a way, because the way they are dealing with this whole matter is as if they can't anticipate what the public will do. And as a public officer, if you can't anticipate reactions from the customers or those you serve, then it tells you that your thinking is deficit. So let's go back directly to what you said. The last question was that the police say because the protesters were not talking. If the person gives you multiple names, this is not the first time. So you say Kwesi Yakubu, alias. So if he gave you 2 more aliases, you record that down. He told you. If he says I'm Kwesi Yakubu, the next time is Kwame Chere, you write it down. You write it down. People have nicknames. You see on the charge sheet, they write Kwesi Yakubu, alias this, right? So that's not an answer. Then number 2, you can't say because he's not answering how you want him to answer, then that means you should starve the person. That means you should not let the person see a lawyer. No. This right to counsel is absolute in this context. Unless the lawyer had appeared there with a gun, in which case, but lawyer, why are you coming with a gun? Are you coming to harm us, etc.? Those haven't happened. So when I say absolute, please, I'm talking about absolute in this context. But in law, you can never say there's any rule which is absolute all the time. No, something will arise that may warrant the curtailment of a right to a certain extent. As I said, assuming the lawyer was to come in there with a gun, which is preposterous, but I'm just showing you as an example. So please, 19 clause 2 cannot be whittled away because an accused person has given a different name. Accused giving different names, it's normal. Look, you go to prisons, it's a normal thing, it's been there for long, all right? Even abroad, it happens, right? I'm not justifying it, but I just want us to know that police, that is your work, so you should be used to it, that accused persons will change names, etc. So that is it. Then the accused, they've complained that they were not even informed, okay, about the nature, okay, of the offense they had committed. So 19 clause 2D says, when you arrest the person, when you charge, okay, you have to inform the person immediately. So I'm interested in 14 clause 3. Yeah, when you arrest the person, you have to inform him immediately of the offense. Why are you arresting him? So they are saying that most of them, they were never told anything. They were just taken in straight into custody, and then they will not allow them to see family. They will not allow them to see lawyers. So Article 14, Clause 2. So we want to use 14.2 first. At the time of arrest, it says a person who is arrested, restricted, or detained shall be informed immediately. So that's at the time of arresting the person, in a language he understands, of the reasons for his arrest, restriction, or detention, and of his right to a lawyer of his choice. So you see the thing we were talking about earlier. So at the time of arrest, you know how arrest is done? The police has to hit your body, slightly touch you. Okay, not hit. If you say hit, somebody will make it a slap. So he will touch you and say, look, you are under arrest. Then he has to tell you.
We'll see the charges that was.
That's ex post facto. This one is talking about the time you arrest him. So when you get hold of him, and you mean.
So at the time they were arrested,
yes,
at 37,
yes,
at that point
you have to tell him, them, I'm arresting you because listen, under our law, maybe what you've done here is this and this offense. You should know. You can't just come and start arresting the person if you've not done your research. Please, let's be very clear. You can't arrest the person if you don't know what crime he has committed. So by the time you are arresting him, yes, later on, your investigations can reveal other offenses. But minimum, at the time you are arresting him, you should know one offense. You can't just say, I've arrested you.
The protesters said they weren't told.
Yes, it's all of them. The police has not denied that one. Check all the statements. They have not denied that one. So please, this one takes effect. Immediately you hold the person and you don't intend to let him go. Hey, Mr. Okansi, I've arrested you because you're blocking this road constitutes a criminal offense, or you're hitting Mr. X is assault, okay, or you're taking this phone without permission is stealing. You have to, it says in a language he understands, of the reasons for his arrest, the restriction or detention, and of his right to a lawyer.
At that point of arrest, they should have known that they are being charged with unlawful assembly, causing unlawful damage,
yes,
and offensive conduct.
Yes.
These are the charges.
Yes. So please, you can't arrest the person if you don't know the offense. And as I've said, other offenses can come in later. But if you don't know any offense somebody is being charged with, in this context, please, in this context, because when it comes to diseases, emergencies, and the same Article 14, somebody can be taken into custody for personal safety and the rest. Please, we are not talking about that one. So please, pardon me, anytime I'm making categorical statement, let me make this one time a caveat. In this context, so I'm not making categorical statements for all time. No, in this context. So you should know. You say he's playing football or he's blocked the road. What offense is that? He should know. You cannot just take him into custody and then later go and open the law books and start looking for offenses. No, that is what it means by you should have done your investigations and gotten what we call probable cause. Please, that's a technical word, probable cause. So you should know that what he has done is probably this offense. If you don't know any offense, you can't arrest him like that. As I've said, I've made the exception for when somebody quarantined because of disease like COVID and the rest. That's not what we are talking about here. But in this case, you should know. That's one. So, and you see, have you seen the police talk about that one at the time of the arrest?
No.
All of their statements, have you seen them? They've not addressed it. The ones they want to address, they will address. Later, we'll come to how they even did the medical test on the Gloria Louise without consent and put out somebody's medical information. How? Okay, so you are talking about one, the access to the lawyers. Then two, the feeding. I'm a governor, okay? I'm Abebio, yes? She says they were starved. Felicity Nelson, she said it, they were starved. Each time, they're giving food on their way to court. You see, so that they can come and inform Justice Obriyebua that they've given them food. I mean, that is bad faith. Your own law says that you protect human rights. Your own service instructions. You say you protect human rights. You are not giving them food. You wait. Well, on their way to court, that is when you now come and give them food so that you can inform the court that, yes, you've given them food. Please, that is not law. That is bad faith. Which other of the infractions are we talking about? Beyond 48 hours. That's the next one.
Well, so yes,
paragraph 21.
Before you even read that, the police itself, I think in their last statement that they put out, have indicated that they held 2 persons beyond the 48 hours, and that matter has been referred to the Police Professional Standards Bureau, formerly PIPS. And so in order to establish exactly how and why these persons were held beyond 48 hours without being sent to court for necessary disciplinary action to be taken against those responsible. Per the records as you have it, I say as you have it because you have been involved in the thick of affairs with these protesters who have been arrested.
Yes.
Is it the case that only 2 of them were held beyond 48 hours, as you do know?
Because of the restrictions on seeing the suspect accused persons, I've not been seen any information beyond the 2. But in the coming days, yes, we would go into that. We will go to, you know, these are persons that for quite a number, almost all of them, the first time lawyers had access to them was when they were being brought to court. Okay, that's brought to the court. Look, there's even one of them. Yes, even one of them, to the extent that he was taken to Circuit Court 10. No lawyer had seen him. So the case was called, and Noah Adamte, lawyer who appeared for him, said, oh, my lord, I think that's Benjamin Daku's case. My lord, oh, can the case be stood down so that I'll have conference with the client? The judge said, no. In the public interest, we will just remand him. So lawyer and accused, Dr. Ayine, you have taught us law. Somebody is being brought to court. He's not seen a lawyer. The lawyer has appeared in court. My lord, can we stand down this case? Let me have conference. Let me have conference. The judge said, no. In the public interest, I'm remanding him. And just remanded, just like that, offhandedly. Meanwhile, those are the very things that the Supreme Court sought to stop in Kpebu number 2. When you read the decision over 100 pages, you see them bemoaning the way judges have abused the rights of citizens. Why? They give you power. What's the rush? What's the rush? Just give the lawyer 10 minutes to talk to the client. Noah Adamte, he was in court 10. Just as this is Samoa, yes, Evelyn. Court 10, Noah is there. He came and reported. If you say it's false, well, we can activate the necessary processes. Noah Adamte appeared for Benjamin Dako. Says he wanted to talk to Benjamin Dako before the case. The judge said no, in the public interest. What public interest? When Chairman Wontumi is walking free, Wontumi who has degraded the forest, he is walking free. The man who has allegedly blocked the road, he should just go in. What public interest? What public interest is that? So that was
the first time he was seen?
Yes, Benjamin Dako, part of the protesters. He wasn't allowed.
What I want to find out, those who were picked up a week ago, Saturday, yes. So those are the persons who were held beyond 48 hours, because those who were
exactly
on Sunday,
yes,
Tuesday would have been the 48 hours.
Thank you.
Have satisfied that.
Thank you.
But could the police have arranged these 2 or the persons who were arrested on Saturday before Tuesday, because Monday was a holiday?
Perfect. Yes, and that is what Sophia Akufo did. Yes, Antoine, in the Kpebu number 4 versus Attorney General number 4. And before then, let me just read the human rights provision. Then we'll go into the Kpebu number 4. It says, respect for human rights, 14. That's why I'm reading from the service instructions. In the performance of their duties, police officers shall respect and protect, yeah, when you say protect, human rights, human dignity, and protect human dignity, maintain and uphold rights for all persons. Let's read it. It's a base disjoint. In the performance of their duties, police officers shall respect and protect human dignity, maintain and uphold rights for all persons. All persons. So this 14. And that their own service instructions. So service instruction number 2, subpart 14. Subpart 14. That is the police service instruction. So it's not just the Constitution. You yourselves, you've written, and you say that shall respect and protect. When the word, please, let's understand it. The word protect means that you take steps to help the person to enjoy those rights. The respect one, if the person already has it, don't infringe it. But the word protect, when you are protecting the right, you take positive steps to help the person. So give food, allow access to lawyers, etc. So those ones involve the police taking some actions. I'm interested in the word protect. It's as a technical meaning. You take positive steps to do something for the person. Don't just say protect means, oh, you just sit. No, it's a respect that you may not necessarily do too much. But the word protect technical, when it comes into human rights, jurisprudence, you will take positive steps to give the person human rights, so food, health. You know, Oliver was sick, etc. He has also claimed he was not allowed to see a doctor. They brought a private doctor to come and see Oliver. The police made sure that the doctor stood at the headquarters there for hours before they allowed access. What is it? Even the Prot3st case, ACP Agojo's case, Justice Ekobedin gave bail. He granted bail. What happened? What happened? Even the ones who are said to have been interested in overthrowing Akufo-Addo, they got bail.
There was this gentleman, a brother of one of the protesters, who we spoke to, indicated that his sister was suffering from a number of conditions, and she was also denied access to the family. As of the time we were talking to him, the asthma pump that she needed had not been given to her. I want us to hear from the brother, and then also I'll come to you, Dr. Bona, on this. Let's take a look. And while we are at it, let me just remind you as well that as we go on, ACP Benjamin Agojo, retired, is going to be joining us as well. Let's take a look.
We scouted through the various police stations, and then at around 9 p.m., we found her at Kaneshi. I requested from the counter NCO to speak to my sister. What she could do best was to refer me to their station officer. And then the station officer said they were working under specific instructions from the regional command that those who were arrested in relation to the protest shouldn't be allowed any form of access by anybody, not a family member, not even a lawyer. The caller told me that my sister is not fine and so we should come and see her. I walked back to the gate. The officer in charge said no. My sister has complicated health issues. She's diabetic, she's asthmatic, and then she has glaucoma. We are not able to tell whether she's in a stable condition or not. Asthma can be triggered at any time. BP can be triggered at any time and place her in danger. We do not understand why someone who ordinarily was just filming the protest or streaming the proceedings of the protest live on his social media handle should be arrested and then detained for 3 good days.
Well, so that's a separate case from what you have been talking about, counsel. Yes. And this is one of a number of cases of persons who had one condition or the other being denied access. There was also another incident of some persons who are passerbys. They weren't even involved in the protests. Yes. And in this case, this person said his sister was filming and then she was picked up. The people who were passing by who were also picked up as well. How should that have been treated? I mean,
this whole thing, because there are doubts, that's because the accused are said to be innocent. Not just said, the Constitution says in Article 19 that a person is innocent until proven guilty. That is the heart of the Kpebu number 2 verse Attorney General number 2. I'm sure we'll come to it in the next chapter, right? So once there are those doubts, admit them to bail. Look, in any serious country, we will not be charging these protesters in the first place because what they are alleged to have done, I'll call that publicity stunt. S-T-U-N-T, okay? Stunts and Arr3st. It's something you do differently to draw the attention of duty bearers. This blocking of roads, okay? Yes, it's just a publicity stunt to draw the attention of duty bearers. So that's not a crime you are busy charging. You see, Godfrey Dami is busy interested. He is taking this case, right? Godfrey Dami, We presented a case against Chairman Wontumi. The case with CID Dampare and Faustina and Kofi. You were asked about this case more than 7 months ago. You said you didn't know anything about it. Why didn't you take steps to go and ask the police to bring the case? After all, you know, under the law, Article 88, the police don't have power by themselves to go and prosecute offenses. No, it's the Attorney General that gives them power. So you see that the police are in court because the Attorney General gives them power. The day the Attorney General revokes all of the power, police only come to court to testify as investigators, and also to bring accused to the court, but not as prosecutors. So, Godfrey Dami, you heard about this Chairman Wontumi case, okay, through a Joy FM interview more than 7 months ago. You've never been interested in your Ashanti regional chairperson facing the full rigors of the law. But this one that protesters did some publicity stunts.
You want to call that?
Yes, that's my word. And so these protesters are actually political prisoners. They are not ordinary criminals. They are not criminals. They are just political prisoners. They did it because, you see, from 2018, Akufo-Addo has been sloganeering, I'm prepared to put my presidency on the line. I'm prepared to put my presidency on the line. And waxing lyrical. I'm prepared to put my presidency on the line and not doing much. Just attention grabbing headlines all over, right? So, and then other things, Operation Galamsey, Operation this, and all haven't been sustained, right? As for excesses, there'll be excesses. So the time Galamsey and the rest had their issues, you had to deal with that and continue. Then you withdrew them. So what these young people are doing is that let's do something differently. Well, all over the world, activists do that.
The concern there is that in doing something differently, it also got to the point where it infringed on the law, and that's why the police took this action. As in instances where the protesters, and as you indicated, there were excesses. And
I'm not admitting the case is in court. So in this, when you come into jurisprudence, there is what? Positive defiance. You think it's every time that the law will be obeyed. Even the Constitution says when you see somebody doing a coup d'etat, you to take arms. If you can counter the coup d'etat, it's not an offense. Check Article 3. So these are political prisoners. They've not committed any offense. It's a way of registering the public uproar, the public disguise. It's not just public uproar. The existential threat, that's the word. We are all faced with an existential threat. Ghana Water says what? Now when they process water, they get only 40% of the water. Out of 100%, only 40 is good. Then they spend 4 times more. Is that not so? Their own statistics. Turbidity is gone through the roof. So that is the narrative. And yet Wontumi is walking free. So they just did this stunts to draw attention. These are not criminals. This is just publicity stunts.
Public concern, as in...
Yeah, the public will always be concerned, because don't forget, we have different levels of knowledge. Levels of knowledge. So some people who don't know the full law, as soon as they see a small breach, yes.
These are the charges. There's conspiracy to commit crime, namely unlawful assembly and unlawful assembly causing unlawful damage, offense conduct conducive to breach of peace, assault on public officer, and they have, in fact, all these instances captured.
Yes.
And then some of the instances, and they were stealing.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, and stealing. You see, and in all of these instances, they make reference to the conduct of the demonstrators within that 3-day period that they were on the streets.
Yes.
And some of the instances they were engaged in blocking the roads by themselves. And then also, at some point, pushing the police, the barricades, and so on. Does that raise concern for you?
Oh, naturally, it will raise concern. Good. So if you say concern, that will admit, yes, there is concern, because naturally, we are a very conservative society. So it raises concern. But the fact that we've ratcheted it up to say these are criminal offenses, that is where the problem is. But as for concern, yes, because our society is largely conservative. We are calm, we pride in ourselves, peace-loving. But when you continue to be peace-loving, you allow crooks to cause mayhem. That's the thing. So viewers, as you listen, the politicians are not gentlemen, though. That's a mistake people make. Look, you think because the politician comes to church with you, because he's in a football club with you, because they are not gentlemen. Don't make a mistake. Politicians are usually crooks. So when you are dealing with crooks and you come and sit here, you analyze gently, softly, they won't listen. That's why the young men did what they did. When you read activism and the rest, you have to do it differently. And yes, sir, you will hear in Tree, they commonly say, oh, ehurua ebejo. That's why the politicians know. They say, oh, ehurua ebejo. Then they say we have short memories. Oh, give it 2 weeks, it will pass. Please, these are the things. That's the way a politician thinks. So the young men had to do something different. These are stunts. These are not offensive. Then 2 statements you asked about the 48 hours. Just brief on it.
I want us to conclude.
So in 2019, as we stated earlier, December 2019, the Supreme Court held in Kpebu number 4, versus Attorney General number 4, that when a person is arrested, that person must be brought before a court of law within 48 hours. Whether within that 48 hours we had weekend, Saturday, Sunday, or public holiday, or even strike, even if within that period the judicial service is on strike and they lock the courts, the law is that provision will be made, because the court is locked, provision will be made for the accused to be brought to the house of a judge. Of course, in our past, in the 80s, Rawlings regime, they killed judges. That's bad, okay? We'll leave that for another time. But, you know, we have to continue trying. We can't say because some judges were killed in the past, we'll not allow an accused person near the house of a judge. Of course, it doesn't necessarily mean his house. They can find another facility. So it will not necessarily be the home of a judge, maybe a different public space, somewhere. So that is a Supreme Court decision. And please, very, very important in it. Let's note this. When we say within, please, the first thing is that within 48 hours, you should be in the court before the 48-hour expires. Be in the courtroom before 48 hours expire. It doesn't mean that, so it's wrong to think that it's 48 hours, then you start preparing to go. No, that's one. And then two, just last point. The Supreme Court said, if it's clear to you from day one, as soon as even before the arrest, if you think the case is too complex, so you cannot finish within the 48 hours, just at the time of arrest, then you start preparing to take him to court. At the time of arrest, because if from day one, certain offenses may be complex. So let's say a coup d'etat. A coup d'etat, if only, of course, it's not a kitchen coup, but a proper coup d'etat, you can't finish investigations within 48 hours. So as soon as you arrest, whilst people are doing investigations, a different police officer will be working on the court papers. That's why we have so many. Look, the police have a lot of men. You see, we are using so many of them for police visibility. So the CID should be doing his work. You can take some from the police visibility and train them how to prepare court papers. So that while the CID is taking statements, doing other things, then the other one is helping to type. Don't let the same CID. In practice, the investigator is the one who will finish interrogation, then go and type, and then, no, share the work. So let me leave it. So please, that's Kpebu number 4. Please, whether Saturday, Sunday, or public holiday, the court will be open within 48 hours for you. And I've attended courts within that period. Constitution Day 2022. The case that happened around Nalerugu, Deboku, this is one of the cases. They were brought to Accra. I was in court with the Attorney General on 7th January 2022, right? And then the there've been other cases.
I see. So I just wanted to establish that there's a provision in our law that indeed the police could have gone to court and have these persons arraigned on a public holiday. That was Monday, instead of having them in custody beyond the 48 hours and arraign them before court on Tuesday. So that's established. But I need to say this, that the reason why I spent quite some time with Martin Kpebu is that this case and the law bothering on this case, he has tested and won cases and has contributed significantly to the legal jurisprudence that we have in this country with respect to arrest and bail. And then that's why you keep hearing him refer to Kpebu number 1, 2, 3, 4. These are cases that he won, and that improved on our legal system and justice delivery in this country. Dr. Bona?
Thank you for staying to PENDREAM TV. Really appreciate your time. Please, if you have not yet subscribed as a new member, please do so for us. Hit the notification bell for more updates. Like and also share to other members to watch as well. You can also leave a comment after watching. Please let your comments be something readable. This is from Insult. Thank you.
I'm in the PENDREAM TV. Now, so far so good. Say open online portal e Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.